beast! Ah!
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Not the Bees, the Nicolas Cage Filmography Podcast. I am Megs, and this week we watched 2014's Outcast, which stars Hayden Christensen and Nicolas Cage. It has 5% on the tomato meter. In 12th century, in the quote-unquote Middle East, Jacob and Ghislaine, respectively Christensen and Cage, are Templar knights during the Crusades. After sacking an unnamed Arab city and killing the commander, Ghislaine has had enough of the violence and effects after failing to convince Jacob to do the same. 3 years later, in the quote-unquote Far East, a king tells his son and daughter that he is dying and that he has chosen his son Zhao over his older brother Xing as his heir because he's more level-headed and it's time for peace. As the older son arrives back to the palace from war, the king sends the younger son away and sends his sister Leon to watch him. When Xing arrives home, the king tells him of the decision and they argue. Xing orders all the guards out and demands to know where the seal is. When the king refuses to answer, Xing kills the king with the same dagger that his mother had saved the king's life with before they were married. He then tells the guards that Zhao murdered the king and stole the royal seal and demands the guards retrieve it. Meanwhile, Zhao and Leanne barely make it away with the assistance of a white-robed monk who gives his life for their escape. Their horse is wounded in the escape and dies on them as they reach a village. Leon tells Zhao to hide and stay safe while she goes to scout for danger and find an escort. And if she doesn't come back, he knows to go and find the generals that her father sent them to find. She immediately gets made, and her brother is found by Xing's guards and brought to the same tavern as his sister. The guards want the seal, but there's an outsider here in a big hat, and as the guards get violent, he flips his table, and it's Jacob. He had given his sword as payment for food, and now the commander of the guard has it, and Jacob wants it back. He is very high on opium, but somehow manages to take out the guards except for the commander, who takes Zhao hostage. Jacob says he just wants the sword. He says he'll leave if he can have it. The commander agrees, and Jacob throws a spear he's holding through the commander's eye. Leon begs him to help, but he just wishes them luck. While stopped to water his horses and rest, Jacob is haunted by his actions in the Crusades. He turns back and finds the royals sleeping and alerts them to the guards headed towards them and leads them to a crevice in a mountain to hide. He tells Leanne when asked that he came back for the gold and he was going in that direction anyways. Zhao is not pleased at having him for a guide but says nothing. They come across a village on fire, Prince Xing's guards. At first, Jacob refuses to help, but then Zhao fires an arrow at one of them riding away with a young girl he's trying to steal. When he misses, Jacob takes the bow and fires, hitting the guard just as he reaches the edge of a lake and quite a distance away. They save the girl Xiaoli, and she joins them. Back in their kingdom, Xing is frustrated that the seal has not been recovered. On the road, Zhao tries to apologize for what his brother's men did to Xiaoli, but she isn't having it. She thinks Zhao is just a boy, not a king. During the night, Leon steals Jacob's opium and burns it while he's sleeping. She says that their lives and their kingdom depends on him being clear-headed. The next morning, Jacob is shaking without drugs, and Zhao wants to be taught how to fight. As Jacob trains him, we go back and forth between shots of him and Zhao training and Ghislaine training Jacob when he was a boy in a short montage. And then on the road, Leon and Jacob discuss a strategy. There's a character referred to as a white ghost, the leader of a group of bandits that hate the king and his men. Jacob explains that once they pass into their territory, Xing's men should stop following them. Leon is not as confident, but after nearly being spotted by guards on the road, they all mount their horses and move on. Next, they are crossing a desert and see the city of Jingshao. They join a caravan posing as a traveler, his mistress, and their servants. Jacob pays the leader of the caravan the gold that Leon gave him, and she welcomes them to their group. When they arrive, the guards stop them briefly looking for the royals, but the woman leading the caravan gets them in. She invites Jacob and his party to stay with them. At an inn, the caravan leader offers Jacob opium and women. He accepts, and Leon warns him to be ready to travel the next day. She then goes to her room and tells her brother to get cleaned up. Jacob is having a bad time with the caravan leader. She's drugged him with something strong and takes his sword. Then the women tie him up and leave him. When he wakes, guards are riding into town. He burns the ropes from his wrists, grabs his sword, and goes after the royals. The caravan leader tries to stop him because they only want the kids. He knocks her out and gets the prince and princess out with Xiaoli, and they run to a boat. Jacob has stayed behind to deal with the guards and give them a head start. He says if he makes it, he'll meet them. Leon is distressed as she doesn't even know his name, but leaves as commanded. Jacob is quickly caught by the guards, but refuses to say where the royals have gone. A scout tells the commander that they're in the river, and Jacob immediately starts fighting them all. On the river, several boats are now chasing the royals. Jacob, having gotten free, gets into the last boat. Leon and gang make it to the other side and begin running into the woods with several guards in pursuit. Suddenly, arrows start to fly, and men in dark clothes are taking out the guards. They encircle the young royals and Xiao Li. Jacob has finally made it to the other side of the river, but is badly hurt and still affected by the drugs and doesn't make it very far before collapsing. He wakes up later while being tended to by several healers while a dark figure holding a snake is just out of focus. Turns out it's Ghislaine. He says the others are safe, but he's pissed that Jacob led the guards to their position. He asks how Jacob found him, and Jacob says, "No one ever goes east, that's what you said." Ghislaine checks Jacob's wounds, and Jacob says they need to talk. Ghislaine says that he should have left him in the woods. As soon as he can move, he leaves. Back at where Leon and gang are, we learn that Ghislaine is the White Ghost. Leon says Jacob sent them here. Ghislaine threatens to turn them over to Xing, and Zhao says if he helps them, he will be king and he will remember their help. The next morning, Ghislaine and Leon speak of Jacob, and she learns of his violent past. She is undeterred by Ghislaine's warnings, though. Back in their kingdom, Xing is given a message, and he tells his men to saddle the horses. Leon visits Jacob and tells her his name. He apologizes, and she forgives him for helping them. She says maybe he's repaid his debt and to rest. He wants her to help him get to Ghislaine instead. Ghislaine's wife clears the common room for him and Jacob to talk, and during their last mission together, Ghislaine found Jacob kneeling over a pile of dead women and their children. It's the reason for the rift between them. He had assumed that Jacob had murdered them, but Jacob explains that the women actually killed their children and then themselves during the sacking of the city. He watched the last woman end her life. Ghislaine tells Jacob about defecting and how he met his wife. He lost an eye, she lost her tongue, but they still love each other. Meanwhile, Xing's guards are riding hard while Zhao trains. Jacob tries to convince Ghislaine to help them. That night, Leon joins Jacob outside at a fire while her brother sleeps. She tells him that she promised her father she would protect Zhao. Why is he helping them? Jacob explains that he lost his way, and her brother are helping him to find his way again. He rises to leave, and she tells him her father would have liked him. They kiss. In the morning, scouts spot Xing's guards and alert the White Ghost. He says there is no longer a choice to get them to the generals that they were meant to meet. Now they have to fight. As they ready their weapons, Jacob and Ghislaine talk strategy. Zhao wants to fight, but Jacob says he needs to stay safe. Ghislaine's bandits drive the guards into a ravine and pick off several with smoke traps and arrows. A melee then follows, and Zhao shoots an arrow at a guard to save Jacob. Everyone falls back to the caves. Jacob tells Zhao to get his sister and Xiao Li to another cave. As the guards reach the cave, Ghislaine is shot in the shoulder as his wife is throwing smoke bombs. He tells her to run, but she dives on top of him as a blast goes off to shield him, and she dies. Ghislaine makes Jacob leave to get Zhao and takes on the remaining guards all on his own, at least 30 men. He takes out at least a dozen of them before being overwhelmed. Xing stabs him with a spear and kicks him to the dirt. As he dies, he sees his wife speaking with an uninjured tongue. Jacob emerges from the cave with Zhao, Leon, and Xiao Li. Xing asks why he helped the prince. Jacob says that he is not like them, that the world would be better without men like him and Xing. Zhao and Xing speak. Zhao says their father would be ashamed of what Xing had become, and Xing says it's good that Zhao killed him and knocks him down. Xing gives Jacob an opportunity at single combat, just the two of them. Jacob agrees and they fight. Xing draws blood first and several times. When Jacob begins to gain advantage, he's shot twice with arrows by other guys. Xing demands that no one else interfere, and Leon pulls a dagger. Xing tells her not to hurt herself, but she begs him for no more. As she goes to stab Xing, he stabs her in the gut and her dagger lands in front of Jacob. As Zhao rushes to Leon, Jacob grabs the dagger and stabs Xing before collapsing next to her. The general of Xing's army steps forward and apologizes to Zhao and calls him Majesty, recognizing him as the king. 3 days later in Xingwan, at the residence of the general Zhao was sent to meet, a note arrives advising of Xing's death, Leon's condition, and Zhao heading to them with the seal. Jacob buries Ghislaine and his wife. He tells Leon death follows him. She touches his face and then joins her brother and Xiao Li, and they ride to the generals who accept Zhao as their king. Back at the graves, Jacob looks back one last time before riding away on his own. We pan down to the hilt of Ghislaine's crusader sword, buried at the head of his grave as a marker. The end. Elizabeth.
Yes, dear.
What did you think of this movie?
So, this is going to be a controversial take.
Sure.
I actually kind of liked it.
Same. I actually kind of liked it too. It's problematic. It's not a good movie. It's really not a good movie, but there is just something that Hayden Christensen brings.
Yes. And it's not as bad as Jiu-Jitsu, which we were really afraid of going into this because it only has the 5% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
It's well acted. It is an interesting little swashbuckler tale. It leaves just enough vague enough so as not to be racist. I don't know. I liked it.
I also liked it too. I think that Hayden Christensen just always brings something that's not expected.
Yeah.
I loved his haircut the whole time. He had like a wide mohawk.
Oh my God. That was the first note I wrote. Hayden Christensen's hair was the first note I wrote.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, it's Hawkeye's haircut before Hawkeye had it.
Let's talk about Nick Cage's accent.
Can we just talk about their accents in general? Because they plumb gave up.
Yes.
Not even halfway through. They just, no, not, like, they start out, right? They're in, again, an unnamed Arab city during, like, they're clearly Templar Knights. They have the white vestige with the red cross on it, big giant broadswords. Like, they're clearly sacking cities in the name of Christendom. And they start off with these really horrible English accents. And I want to say, after that initial scene, because we don't see Cage for a bit. We only see him like at the beginning, and then we see it when they make it to the bandits' area, like wherever they are.
Right.
And in between that time, so in those 3 years, he lost his accent completely. Hayden Christensen's character continued the accent probably until about the same moment when he and Zhao and Leon and Shali reached the bandits' encampment. And then from there, it was just they were American accents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine because the British accents were not good.
No. And I'm genuinely confused as to why they were even trying to affect them because, like, this takes place in China. And, like, it's very clear that all of the, like, the majority of the speaking actors are not from China, or at least don't predominantly live there. They all sound very American. So I don't really understand the farce at the beginning, and then they just gave up at the end. Like, it's just, it's so good. It's so badly good. It is very well acted, but yes, the accent bit was silly.
Yeah. Yeah, the accents were terrible.
What did you think of Cage's prosthetic over his eye?
What prosthetic?
He was missing an eye.
I thought he was just squinting the whole time.
Oh, no, like, he definitely had something to, like, keep that there. Like, it looked like it was, like, ragged and shit. Like, it looked torn.
There was a ragged scar over his eye, but really, in reality, all he's doing is squinting. Like...
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not good. It's not good.
It's really not good. I enjoyed the pacing of this movie. I thought that for what it was still very fast-paced. There was a lot of very good action, which, again, is another thing that I really enjoyed about Hayden Christensen's performance. He has all that Jedi fighting knowledge. So it seemed very natural. Whereas, like, I think we've seen a lot of period pieces with, like, big swords and stuff where, like, the motion is not fluid. And, like, it's, explained away because, like, obviously they're wearing, like, full plate armor, stuff like that. Like, but a lot of them are just, like, in leather. And, like, he makes it look like it weighs nothing. He's very quick on his feet.
You're right. His Jedi training came in very handy for this role.
Like, I had to stop myself because the entire time I was watching it, like, anytime that he would start a fight, like, I would just be making lightsaber noises with my mouth. Like, like, it... bad.
Let's talk about the fact that they're Knights Templar. Yeah. And they're on the Crusades, and yet we do not get a church desecration.
We don't. I had to go, like, after I watched the movie, I did go back to the beginning and watch the first, like, 10 minutes, like, scanning back and forth, was one of the first buildings like a mosque or something that they went to? And I don't believe that they were. I think
it wasn't.
It was just a palace, I think, that they were in. But you know what? That's okay. They didn't have to desecrate a church in Southwest Asia during the Crusades for this movie. They really didn't have to do that. It's been done. It's been done to death.
So, what would you rate this movie, Megan?
It's kind of hard because this is not a good movie. It's not a good movie, but despite that, it's not super poorly written. There's not a whole lot of plot holes. It's well acted. I'm kind of inclined to give it a B-. I
could live with a B-. I was gonna say B-C.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're in the same realm.
Okay.
What would you give the caginess of it?
I don't know, because his costume was great, I think. He does rugged, unshaven, long hair well. We've seen it in, The Sorcerer's Apprentice. We've seen it when he was Memphis Reigns. He plays tall, unwashed, in dark clothing very well. And the wig that they gave him was not super silly, which I appreciated. And his performance outside of the accent and then his just giving up on it, I think was pretty good. I would probably want to give him around the same. I would probably want to give him a B-. What about you?
I don't think he's good in this movie.
No? That's fair.
No, I would give him a C.
Okay.
Just because I don't feel like he was really there.
Yeah, it definitely felt as phoned in as jujitsu. I will say that.
Yes.
I still think his performance was better than his performance in jujitsu, but it did have a very phoned in kind of feel to it. So yeah, I could live with a C.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's give him a C.
Yeah, we're gonna give him a C on that. But there you have it, folks. This is a terrible movie that is just kind of a delight to watch. It's a B- for a film. It's a C on a Cage effort, but we enjoyed it. If you have also listened to this or watched this movie, if you're following along with us, we'd love you to interact with this episode in some way and tell us your thoughts. But that's going to be it for us this week. We are, again, all on your same podcasting apps. We're, again, on YouTube at Not the Beast Pod. We're still on socials on Instagram at Not the Beast Pod. And if you're feeling generous, you can also support us monetarily at patreon.com/notthebees. But I'm going to take us out for this week. I've been Megs.
I've been Elizabeth.
And we'll see you next time.